Have you ever had the chance to sit at home on a rainy, gray day, maybe under a blanket with a cup of hot chocolate and think, why do I like playing video games? Well, video games are our closest form of experiencing true freedom and the adventure we long for all our lives. And today, you'll find out how you're ruining it for yourself. Hello, dear viewers. Who am I kidding? I have more demons in my head than viewers for this video. But nevertheless, today we're going to talk about an interesting issue, and that is how to ruin the experience of video games for yourself. We live in a world full of labels. We're born into a certain pattern, progress along a predetermined path, and move toward a life that seems destined for us from the beginning. Unlike special outlays, most of us won't stray far from this path. As we get older, our dreams mature. Even if, as children, we dreamt of being knights or pirates sailing the seven seas, today those dreams are shaped by our reality. Now they look more like getting a raise at work or finding a partner who won't cheat. And this is where gaming comes into the picture. Video games are actually the last bastion for most of us. Our final refuge for freedom and adventure that we no longer get in reality. I'm not saying reality is a bad or dark place. In fact, you can enjoy it a lot. But reality is a realistic place, hence the name. And there's no room for our childhood fantasies. Yet, when we open a new game we've bought, a new world unfolds before us, full of choices and possibilities, adventures and experiences. It's a world where we determine what happens, and we have the freedom to do as we please. But some of us destroy that freedom in a very simple way. When I play a game where you can make several decisions, I usually know what I want the final result to be. However, most of us, when faced with these decisions, fold and turn to guides on Google so as not to ruin the game by mistake. In doing so, we give up the freedom the game offers, the adventure, because we're cheating by knowing what will happen. Instead of making decisions we believe are right, we try to play God, deciding in advance what outcome we want. And once we enter this loop, the thrill and surprise are destroyed. Why do we do this? It's a curious thing. At its core, gaming is about discovery. It's about those unexpected twists, the joy of success after trial and error, or even the disappointment that comes with failure, because those are all part of the journey. But we're terrified of failure. We're so conditioned by real-life consequences, by the idea that messing up has real-world implications, that we bring that fear into the virtual world too.
'Cause people called me a failure. I'll prove them wrong.
We don't want to mess up in the game because we think it'll reflect poorly on our ability, or because we believe every decision needs to be perfect. This mentality turns games from an exciting exploration of possibilities into a checklist of right choices. The magic of spontaneity is lost. Instead of letting the game surprise us, we race ahead to see what's around the corner before we even get there. We become obsessed with achieving the best outcome. Whether it's unlocking all the achievements, getting the perfect ending, or optimizing every possible stat. What we forget, though, is that the best experiences in gaming often come from the unexpected. Sometimes not getting the best weapon or not making the right decision leads to a more memorable, emotional story. When you follow a guide step by step, you're no longer a participant in the story. You become a passenger. You're letting someone else make the decisions for you. The freedom that games offer, the ability to forge your own path and deal with the consequences, is what makes them special. And by stripping away the unknown, you strip away the adventure itself. We lose the sense of curiosity, of learning through play, which is what games are all about. Games are one of the few spaces where it's okay to make mistakes, and yet we actively avoid them. In doing so, we rob ourselves of one of the greatest joys of gaming, the freedom to fail. For example, think about an RPG like The Witcher 3, where every decision you make can ripple across the story. You might be tempted to look up whether helping a character in one quest will result in a reward or a punishment down the line. But when you do that, you're not really playing Geralt of Rivia anymore. You're just following someone else's script. You've lost the emotional weight of choice. Should you have saved the villagers or taken a darker path? By knowing the outcome beforehand, you miss out on the personal conflict, the tension, and even the surprise of unexpected consequences. You're no longer role-playing as the character. You're gaming the system. This tendency to search for the right choices in games stems from a psychological need for control and certainty. In real life, we are constantly faced with uncertainty and outcomes that feel out of our hands. So when we play video games, where we're given the illusion of control. We bring that same fear of making mistakes with us. Searching for guides or spoilers becomes a way to alleviate anxiety, to avoid the discomfort of making the wrong decision. But paradoxically, by trying to guarantee the best outcome, we strip away the very element that makes games exciting, the risk of the unknown. It's a defense mechanism against failure, but in doing so, we end up sabotaging the emotional engagement and the satisfaction that comes from true organic discovery. That all for today, folks. A little deep video came out today, but don't worry, the next video will be dumb as usual.